And all of the life forms that resonate with that level of spirit are going to go into the fifth dimension with it. So there's going to be a division between the planets. Now, the Mayans believed, and so did the Zapotec Toltecs, that if you could raise your vibrational level, if you could stay in tune with this higher portion of matter, that you would move with the Earth that leaves here, and you will never go through that cataclysm. The rest of the Earth will go through the cataclysm and will last somewhere between 300 and 3,000 years. It's difficult to tell from the records.
Can you imagine what kind of exciting times we're going through right now and will go through, Brooks?
Well, then you have to ask yourself the question, George, why are we alive at this time? Why are we given the tools and given the consciousness and the mortality at this time in this Earth's development? It's no accident.
When you say it's no accident, that means that it was planned.
Yeah, the question is by whom?
And why?
Very good questions. And that sort of gets into the latter third of the book. What was discovered as we delved into this, not only the union of the polarity, but the coming apart of it, is we realized that that we have existed a long, long time as individuals. We weren't just burst into existence when we were born here on this planet this time. And there's lots and lots of evidence in lots of traditions, including early Christianity. It was actually removed from the doctrine in the 3rd and 4th centuries because it was considered heretical by the church government. But there are actually very ancient souls on this planet at this time in mortal form, and they are remembering things that are going to help us move forward. Now you ask, why are we here? Because this Earth, this particular planet, is key in the development of this region of space. And the beings that are on it are here for a reason. Some of them have lost their way, but many of them are awakening, and we're feeling the effects of that consciousness.
Well, what's happening too, Brooks, the way I look at it, is that many people are awakening, and they're at odds with that other group that is not awakening, that may never awaken.
Well, yes, and that odds is also causing conflict, but
massive conflict.
But the conflict is beginning to ebb. It's not like we're at global war anymore. Even the ones that were caught up in the conflict, once they become aware, and we just call that conscious. Everybody's conscious. Just some are not conscious that they're conscious. They don't realize that their intentions, the things that they intend to do, the energy that they put out in the universe, has an effect on the universe. When we looked at the universe mathematically, we realized that the universe, the visible universe that we see, is nothing more than a collapsed wave function. We've collapsed it into particles. And we did it through our intention, which means the visible universe is the sum of the intention of all the intelligent or sentient beings in it. It is a population of intention. Now, if that's true, then statistically, if we awaken a portion of those sentient beings, we can shift the mean of the universe.
You really believe we can do that?
I do believe we can do that, and many people do. I look at things like the intention experiment. I look at the effects Dr. Emoto did with water. William Tiller. Tons of little tiny experiments proving the fact that 1 or 2 or 5 people putting their intention on one thing can affect a small part of the universe.
Well, we've done these experiments before, Brooks, as you know, and they have worked with consequences. Sometimes we've gotten much more than we asked for.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like praying for rain or praying for bread.
Yeah, exactly. And when you get both, you get too much of it.
Well, if you pray for bread, you're probably going to get bread. But if you pray for rain, you may get more than you ask for.
Now, with these changes that are occurring, specifically the Earth changes as we get close to 2012, are you saying that from this point on, we're going to see more and more treacherous weather and conditions?
Yes, I'm saying that those conditions are set in motion. But I'm also saying that all of it, all of the physical aspects of it, can be moved, can be shifted, can be altered, changed, delayed, even eliminated by applying the intention of the populace on that change.
When we come back, Brooks, I want to talk with you more about this, about the intention and how you can affect things. And then later on, we'll open up the phone lines at the top of the hour. You can talk about Brooks's quest to find the hollow earth, and then again, what we're talking about here with 2012 as well. His website, phoenixsciencefoundation.org, linked up at coasttocoastam.com. Back in a moment right here on Coast to Coast AM. Indeed it is, with our guest Brooks Agnew, and we'll be back as we continue our conversation with him. And next hour, we'll open up the phone lines. Brooks, let's talk now about the idea of intention and how it affects the universe. It's not a new theory at all. And again, we've done some of this. But tell us, how did you get involved with that? How did you get interested in that?
Well, once we started examining, how solar systems are created, how galaxies are created, we saw that matter has a spectrum of creation. When in the third book we talk about all protons are not created equal. For instance, a hydrogen proton, which is just a single proton by itself, is quite heavy compared to, say, an iron proton. If it wasn't so, then E equals mc squared wouldn't work. When you bond two hydrogen protons together to form helium, both protons have to lose just a little bit of weight in order to make that new atom. That loss of weight times the speed of light squared is what gives you the energy of a fusion bomb. It's kind of uncontrolled, and we've experimented all too often with it. But the way the universe creates matter like this is with an event called a supernova. A supernova, as you know, is kind of the death cycle of a large star.
Right.
When that star shears off its hydrogen or its electron cloud over it, it creates a supernova event. I don't want to go into a lot of details of it because we'll waste a lot of time. But that event sends an energy pulse out which literally consumes all the matter within a certain radius. And when it cools, it generates new matter, new higher order matter. All of this matter and all the energy associated with it is now entangled, which means it's synchronized with one another. That means that all the minerals that make up a planet like Earth are all synchronized one with another. Well, the biological transducers, which are us, our bodies, when we consume that stuff in peas and carrots and cattle and whatever, it becomes part of our body. That matter becomes part of our body, and thus we become synchronized with the matter of the Earth. In fact, we become synchronized with matter in distant parts of the galaxy. And when we focus the being that is us, our energy that makes up George, that makes up Brooks inside here, that thing that looks back at you in the mirror in the morning, it's not the calcium and protein and DNA that makes up your body. It's the thing that animates you, the energy that animates you, the spirit, if you were, the soul. When we exert that intention, we affect the matter that makes up our body. In fact, we affect the matter in a general region around us, a field. It's been measured as 55 feet in diameter, 27.5 feet from our spine in all directions. And it has a given shape in the form of a star tetrahedron. Interesting thing is, the Earth has exactly the same energy field around it, a star tetrahedron, as do all planets. Now, as this synchronizes and as we apply our intention to it, this is physically, from a physics point of view, how we affect the field of the planet, the field of our body, and thus another body and another one. And we affect it whether we're angry or whether we're loving or whether we're confused or whether we're confident and moving forward. In science, we call this the observation effect. In the book, we show a picture of a pollen particle magnified 120,000 times.
Right.
We bombard that thing with electrons in order to get that image.